So guys, we're back for the third episode of the Linkar Podcast. Super excited to be with you guys. It's been great, like listening to people's journey, what they're thinking about in terms of tech and where we're going. I mean, it's a crazy time that we're going through. So we'll start off with you, Suzanne. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
So I'm Suze, I'm a mindset coach, and my background's in healthcare. So I am a registered nurse. And for me, it just wasn't enough in terms of helping people. I feel like it was very much obviously helping people when they got to some of the most vulnerable parts in their life, but in terms of helping people like really like live a really good life, and actually like it's literally one life. I know everyone says it, but helping people live well in terms of that, that's where I found coaching and love helping people in that way.
Nice. So, I mean, that's a massive thing, especially nowadays. Like, I feel like people want direction. I don't know if it's like missing, but I feel like people don't really know where to go or what to do. It's almost like people are just going through life through screens, and like that's just what's driving them. Like kids are being taught on iPads and stuff, and then you just follow the screen for like what your message is, and then you sort of cling on to that. But yeah, tell us, Gio, then what's your sort of background?
So my name's Gio. I'm a video editor. I've worked in kind of social media and the YouTube scene for the best part of the last 10 years now, which is crazy. I started out in Blackpool, where I came up with sort of the Blackpool grime media scene. I wanted to work in the film industry. I went to uni to work in London to work in the film industry. Made friends there that were doing YouTube at the same time. And at the time, there wasn't really a job that existed that was a YouTube video editor, because at the time there was these creators that were sort of like popping off, and the video editing side, there wasn't really a job there. So I managed to kind of be one of the first to do that as a career. Worked alongside people like True Geordie when I first started off, Will N.E., the fellas, and now most notably I've been working with Logan Paul for the best part of just over 3 years now. So yeah, video editor is kind of the umbrella term for what I do, but
Wow.
I've been involved in sort of many facets. That's
Yeah.
the word of the industry, yeah.
Interesting. So I suppose you're the reason why a lot of attention is being directed online. And again, that's got benefits.
Yeah.
There's possibly a lot of other drawbacks to it as well. But we'll certainly get into that.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much all kids nowadays have access to the internet, have access to TikTok. So the content that I'm being made, I'm not, blind to the fact that millions of people are consuming this around the world,
Wow. How does that make you feel?
What?
Like that's influence and the fact that your work is being directly taken by a lot of different people. I mean,
I don't really have a positive and a negative view on it. It's just objective what I do. Like
Yeah.
if people weren't there to watch the stuff that I made, then I wouldn't have a job.
yeah.
So in a way, I'm happy for it, but I understand there's negative implications to it. That's not that's something I'm not blind to.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. And I suppose there's always ways of looking at it from a viewpoint where it's constructive and it's helping people or guide community and society in the future. So I think that is where community and society is. It's online now. Like when you think about it, wherever you go, like if you're on the tube or whatever, everyone's on their phone, you're on the bus, like no one's talking to each other. They're all living in their own online ecosystems, but it's just crazy to think about. And last but not least, Carys, give us a bit of a background on what you do.
So I'm Carys. I'm a presenter and creative director. So I've worked in the creative industry now for probably about 8 years. Started off in TV production and then kind of pivoted as I've sort of grown and kind of found what I liked. So I've done TV, marketing, online content, social media management, which I hated, but now pivoted recently into presenting, which has completely taken off, and yeah, absolutely love it. So get paid to be me and my personality, which is always great.
Wow, that's really good. And I suppose being yourself and just portraying who you are, because a lot of people, I feel like when they go on the screens, they're not themselves. So how does that feel, and how do you kind of approach that?
God, I think it's a whole different process and journey you have to go on by yourself, because we were speaking earlier and I actually did 6 months of mindset coaching this year, and I think that's when you truly understand who you are as a person, because I think you need to understand that before you can then decide to pivot down this new path that you don't necessarily know is 100% going to work out. And I think you have to be so authentic. But the thing is, I think authentic gets thrown about so much as a word to be like, oh, be authentically you. And it's like, well, people still aren't though. So I think people need to really understand like the power of being truly authentically yourself, but also understanding that social media is fake a lot of the time. And not a lot of people are actually portraying the true life that they live.
Interesting. And you said that you were doing personal development.
Yeah.
Talk us through how that works. I know we've got Suze here, so she can give us a great input as well. But what was the reason why you started the personal development journey? And I suppose, just talk us more about that.
I feel like a lot of my subconscious brain, because you'll know this firsthand, there's subconscious brain and conscious brain. And your subconscious thoughts controls majority of what you decide to do in your life, daily thoughts, daily actions, whatever it is. And I realised that a lot of what I thought about myself was actually really, really holding me back. And to get where I wanted to and to really level up my life, whether that was personally, romantically, career, whatever it was, fitness, whatever, I knew I had to really, really tap into my subconscious brain and really control it because it was controlling me. And I think it gets to a point where you're like, I don't have any other choice. And, you know, I had therapy for years and years and years, but there's nothing more powerful than mindset coaching over therapy, in my opinion. Wow. But not enough people know about it.
And is that in person? How does it work?
I had it online. Yeah, online, which was perfect for me.
What's the key difference between a mindset coach and a therapist? Really kind of the same thing, just different.
So with therapy, you're looking more into the past and really like using tools to work through a lot of deep stuff. So coaching is more looking forward and setting the intention in that way. So very, very different. And I would never recommend coaching for somebody that clearly needs therapy. That could be quite dangerous. Sometimes they can work quite well together as well. But I think, like you said, it's more, I think we don't really, especially like in the digital world, like you've got all this stuff coming at you, it's hard to even stop and make yourself think, actually, I need to set those intentions. I think that's where the contradiction of is tech good, sorry, or bad comes in, because you've got like all this access to all this information about how like you should live your life, or the goals that you should have, how life should look, but then it takes you away from that like self connection, I suppose, and that connection with yourself about what you really want, what's holding you back. We've all got the struggles and the challenges that we need to work through just because we're humans, and it's normal to develop them as you grow up. But you need to have the ability to like stop and see that, do you know what, this needs attention, I need to work on this. Yeah, because before I went into mindset coaching, I was a very masculine energy sort of woman, and it just drained my energy. My nervous system was not regulated in the slightest. I didn't feel very good in my nervous system. And then throughout the whole of the mindset coaching, you know, you find ways to be able to tap more into like your feminine energy. And for me, that was like completely shifting the way that I trained. So fitness, because fitness is such a big part of my life. So I was like, right, stopped high rocks, went into starting doing more of reformer Pilates, and I was like, oh, wow, I feel so zen.
No, it's interesting when you talk about the development side. So would you say that a lot of the development should be in person, or does it make a difference if it's online? Like, does it have an effect on how the person is developing from that?
In terms of sort of coaching sessions?
Yeah, so then if you're speaking to someone, you're trying to sort of highlight to them what their plan is moving forward, then would it be better doing it in person or online?
I think it can work quite well online. I think like with any sort of business, you know, having access to do things online gives you a bigger reach, gives you like better ways to build it as a business. However, I think, and as well, like we spoke about this earlier, I think having it online as well can be more private as well. So I suppose it just depends on your business. In person, though, I don't think you'll ever take away from that like importance of human connection. Like we're literally wired for human connection. So I think with anything that you're doing, really, use like the online side of it to have the impact, but don't forget about the connection side of it.
Yeah. And do you find that when you're speaking to people and you're discussing certain elements of how they can become better, is there always a problem about isolation, or if they're spending too much time online, or does that ever come up?
Probably with my clients are a lot of business owners who spending time online works well for them because, you know, people build really successful businesses in that way. I think spending too much time online probably isn't a particular problem in my life now or with my clients. However, like I've got an 11-year-old son, and I know that's something that will be a big problem for him. So that's something that I try and instill now, like with the work that you do, Gio. So like, I would never encourage him to like just constantly scroll and watch shorts, etc. I want him to come off of that, but then equally at the same time, like having people that like in the creative industry, he's got that access to like a completely different future, a completely different, like what his life could look like, what work could look like. So it's that contradiction really, like you don't want them to be obsessed and using the online space to really take away from the brain and take away like decision making. And like sometimes I think kids don't know how to be bored, like literally don't know how to actually be bored. So you don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but you also like want the influence in them to see like a different world and different ways of building a future.
No, absolutely. I think there is a fine balance there, because let's say, for instance, if you're putting out loads of content and then that content is creating scrolling like circles for people and then they're just stuck online, then I suppose, is that a bit of a contradiction then? Like if you're saying that, oh, like getting into the creative side, but it's going to create that kind of environment, how does that make you feel?
I suppose it depends so whoever's creating the content, I suppose it depends what the purpose of the content is in the first place. And like, is there like, it's all about building community at the end of the day, isn't it? Is there a human connection option to that community, that person sort of diving into all that young person?
Yeah, but it's crazy though, because the things that do go viral aren't typically the things that are that beneficial, really. Like algorithms aren't sort of like tailored towards self-help. They're tailored towards what's commonly referred to as brain rot, which is ultimately kind of just things with no substance to it. And that's the thing, like most of the time, you know, when kids are just doom scrolling through TikTok, it's things that aren't benefiting them, you know?
Yeah. I mean, will that ever change though? Because the way that the algorithm is designed, is it designed in a way where it's almost like sweets or things that aren't good for you taste good? So when people learn, or I suppose spend their time constructively scrolling, can that be a reality that someone like you could then construct, or do you think that's not a possibility?
Well, there is people out there that kind of, I guess, yield that and do try and put people onto a right path, and massive platforms like Mr. Beast, for instance. He's the #1 creator in the world, and a massive portion of what he does is philanthropy. So he talks about, you know, giving money away and stuff and bettering people that are less fortunate, etc. So there is that there, there's some of the top people, but I think just generally no. I think probably it's a net negative. Not net negative, but significantly more negative than positive.
No, absolutely.
Social media and implications of it.
Yeah. I mean, Carys, we've talked about this in the past as well, about social media and the fact that it's creating an image online that people are just becoming completely confused by.
Yeah.
I mean, moving forward into the future, like let's say looking 5, 10, 15 years, I mean, how does this evolve? Like, it is a dangerous place, isn't it?
Yeah. I worry for like people like my niece, for example. She's 13. So she's growing up with everything now. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, everything. And I think specifically TikTok as a platform, it's so quick and people's attention span is just getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So, I mean, when I was her age, Snapchat had just launched. Instagram was still just photos. It wasn't a business. It was just a pretty little platform that you could share your nice photos with your filters. It was great. Whereas I feel like technology and social media is such a business thing now that I feel like anything and everything is being used to make profit. And even things like topics around like mental health and stuff like that, a lot of what you'll see is like clickbaity things to be able to just grab people's attention. And it's like, where's the just actual authentic conversations being having? Like everyone just wants to make money off what they can sell. And I think social media is an incredible thing, and I think the way it's evolved is amazing. Like, it's one of the reasons why I've got the career that I have now, but I also think in the same breath, it can be very, very damaging, especially on people's mental health.
Yeah. No, I think it can. And I don't know if there's a future where social media is like restricted, or it's almost like you've got like classes for it, or there's certain like requirements where you have to kind of follow the guidelines. You know, almost like 20 years ago, they came out with like on the back of food, you have to have like your macros listed out so you don't get heart disease and stuff. Like, what do you think is that? Because you're the most involved in social media to some extent.
It depends on where those restrictions are coming from. Because obviously, you know, you've got an 11-year-old son. Do you have kind of what restrictions do you place on him and his social media usage?
So for him at the minute, there's certain apps that he's not allowed, certain social media sites that he's not allowed. And I always try to, like, he really is obsessed with AirPods, wants AirPods, but I don't let him because I can hear. I want to be able to hear what he's listening to.
Okay, so like an idea of restriction in that instance is what you're saying is like you like the idea of being able to hear and see what he's doing. So that's an element of control in a way. So parental control is one form of restriction. I think with younger kids who are the most impressionable, it is important to have parents that are kind of monitoring what the kids are doing online, especially in this sort of vast social media landscape that we live in right now. So parents watching the kids is, in my opinion, the most important thing. And then when it comes to kind of like who else could restrict them, then the apps, the government.
I suppose like if they came out with like your I know apps have it now where you've got like a daily allowance and you should only spend like an hour clicking, but is there a science behind kind of a whole, I don't even know how to explain it, but like this is the amount of dopamine you'll get from a session of scrolling, and that's bad for you, so you need to like cut back on it to some level.
It's not. It's
like,
so unregulated right now. No, it isn't, because now most kids nowadays, I know my cousins, for instance, they just all have iPads, all have phones, all have access to TikTok, and now are able to just scroll through all day with pretty much unregulated.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is because sort of like their parents aren't really kind of monitoring what they're watching and how long they're spending. They just sit in the room and then they'll just spend hours and hours and hours doing it. Similarly to how when we were younger and we'd be on like PlayStation, etc. You know, we'd just kill time doing that.
I think there's not enough regulation when it comes to TikTok specifically, because I'll just be scrolling the app and then obviously people's lives come up and you'll see like people's lives and it's literally like a 13-year-old girl putting makeup on, getting ready for school with hundreds of people in her life. And I'm like, that shouldn't even be allowed because no one should be able to be just open to so much negativity at the end of the day. Because, you know, there's videos that I'll put up on TikTok and some of them will get, you know, negative comments. I'm 27 and I still struggle reading them sometimes, let alone a teenager. But you can't, I don't think there's anything you can do.
Well, that's the thing, it's like, where do you regulate them? Because that's the content itself. But are we like, when it comes to how long these kids are spending on social media, because I think the negative implications come from the amount of time they spend on it, you know? So, yeah, I guess, like, how do you regulate it? It's really hard. You know, I mean, governments have tried to do that. They tried to ban it in the US, and that's been kind of like...
so they tried to ban it because of that reason?
No, they tried to ban it because of the Chinese influence. Because China own TikTok.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, you know, there is negative implications on TikTok specifically, but it's almost like how do you regulate it?
Yeah.
You know? And I think the main reason, as I mentioned before, is parents.
Yeah.
You know?
I do think, like, when you tunnel vision on what you think the problem is, so, like, it'd be easy to tunnel vision and say, like social media and content and everything is the problem, but in reality, you know, it's the parenting, like, what are you doing? Like, how are we spending our time? How do we educate our kids around our bodies, our brains, our health, what we need? I think it's a bit more of a global sort of solution rather than focusing on that one, like regulating content and what people
got
access to.
Do you think it's really more of a mechanism to kind of keep people occupied? Like, for instance, now, like, let's say your parents are both working, it's just a form of kind of entertainment and what have you, whereas beforehand maybe you'd go out with your parents or you'd go out with your friends, but because everyone's too stuck on it now, there needs to be some sort of like rules behind what you do. Or does that become too dystopian then?
But the kids nowadays, that's their form of that. So when we used to go out in parks and whatnot, we'd get dopamine from playing football or doing whatever. Now it's like being on live streams and watching streamers people love to do now, spending hours just scrolling. That's they're getting the same thing from it.
Yeah. But then would you then create an environment that kind of shows why that's not a good idea? Like if you're just sat in a room,
who's going to be the one to say that, and who's going to be the one to convince these kids otherwise?
I mean, just think about it, right? If you're in the park, like, playing, like, we used to go out as well and whatever, like, you're getting exercise, you're getting fresh air, like, even things like getting sunlight on your skin and the different hormones that are regulated during that, like, that in itself is, like, infinite benefits.
Yeah.
But if you're stuck at home scrolling, just looking at some light coming out of a screen and getting dopamine from it, then surely that is massively detrimental to people.
Yeah.
So there's got to be some rules behind that.
It's down to the parenting, though, isn't it? Really,
Yeah.
in the big scheme of things, when it's teenagers, because if your parents allow you to just have all of these devices and have the AirPods, have the latest this, have the latest that, and just allow you to have access to it, then that's on them at the end of the day. As a child and as a teenager, you only have control of what your parents allow you. So I think it definitely comes down to the parental aspect of things, for sure.
It's a bit of a crazy one as well. But it's like the other kids, if their parents aren't restricting them, then who do you go out with?
Yeah, well, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because I feel like, especially in school, there's so much pressure to have the latest clothes, have the latest iPhone, the AirPods, like so much pressure on kids. And to be able to kind of, in quotations, fit in to what you think you should be doing. So I think that adds a whole nother layer of, if you haven't seen the latest thing that's happening on TikTok or in this industry, in that industry, like, you're not cool. And it's like, well, actually, like, not everyone needs to know about all of these things that's happening online, because the online world isn't actually a real world. Like, too many, I think even, like, for me personally, like, I try to be way more present nowadays than spending as much time on social media, like getting that screen time down. Because, you know, when you're in the industry where part of your work is on social media, it's hard. But I think if you can really just strip it back and get as much time off social media, I think it can completely transform your life.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But it's easy to stay on it, right?
I
It's
tried
that
to
dopamine.
delete TikTok like last week, but then I've re-downloaded it because my fiance was like, "Oh, I sent you all this stuff on TikTok. I'm now to see it," you know. And then you get that one thing, like, so it's rough. It's hard to kind of, like, even for adults, you know, because I think the main problem now is the kids, because the next generation, and also kids are the ones that are going to get the most negatively impacted, and also like forever impacted by the negative implications of social media.
Yeah.
There's far more control when it comes to adults.
Yeah.
I suppose that leads us on nicely to think about, where does this go? Like, let's say in like 20 years, if we carry on down this path of like big corporations, like chasing dopamine, chasing attention, and just in tech in general, like talking about all of the different like types of AI automation, like, do you think that this is going to get to a point where it replaces human beings, like, completely? Like, what do you think about not just the content, but like, I'm talking robotics, I'm talking just tech replacing humans? Like, where
We're
does
all
that
going to
go?
turn into robots.
Well, they're
No,
making
honestly.
robots, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like we're on our way there. When you say replacing humans, I mean, that's quite vague, but like, there's definitely jobs, many creative jobs that have been taken over by AI.
Let's say, for instance, an example like iRobot. Like, you've got the robots doing like the laundry, like getting the groceries, like different things like that. That replaces a lot of people. So what is the value? Like, each person has tremendous value and talents and hidden like abilities that they might not even know about.
Yeah.
So if the robots replace people, let's just say in this dark future, what happens to all the people? Like, they're just stuck scrolling.
I guess there's other jobs that need to be fulfilled, because I don't like the advancements of technology isn't a new thing. Like, AI is the new kind of buzzword right now, but technology has been advancing like rapidly ever since the 80s, pretty much, with the
But it's not a long
of the
time.
internet and the kind of globalization of everyone being kind of connected throughout the world. That's why, like, nowadays kids are like so invested on TikTok in like conflicts that are going on thousands of miles away, you know, whereas like back in the 80s, like, people won't care about that. So the point I'm making is, like, jobs have already been taken. It's been a gradual thing, and it only seems to be kind of like catalyzed by AI. But It is heading that way, right?
But look, the population's growing like tremendously. Like now, I think India's taken over China, and they had the one-child policy at one point. So you've got like two countries that have over 1 billion people, and that's growing. And then as tech's getting so much more evolved, people are almost like jumping on that as like an automatic response, like get your kids on it, everyone. It's like a default setting for a lot of people, especially maybe not in where we live, but other places are now getting more onto tech where in the past they weren't privileged enough to have access to it. So I think, especially at this point, that's never been seen before to the degree that we're going in
No,
at.
definitely. And it's only going to get worse. But that's the thing, like it's about, there's not, to be fair though, there isn't like, it's not as if every industry is going to be taken over by AI in the near future. A lot of creative jobs are, or I mean already. I mean, like I'm a video editor and we use this software now to sort of generate music, so we can kind of generate whatever music we want now using AI. Like I'm on no illusion that that's taking jobs away from people that, you know, make music. It's not the best music in the world, but it's like with ChatGPT, when that first came around and you were able to generate images, the images kind of looked like what it was that you imported, but now it's almost indistinguishable from reality. We saw that with Sora earlier this year, the OpenAI video creation model. People were making, I made this one video I put on my Instagram of Jake Paul in Blackpool, and my cousins believed that Jake Paul was in Blackpool. It was a fake AI generated image.
Wow. It's
becoming indistinguishable. So the creative industry, there's a lot of jobs that are going to be taken by AI. I'm under no illusion of that. But there also is a lot of other jobs, practical jobs that aren't going to be taken over by it.
Yeah.
But it is something that we kind of like, I think humans inherently, and this maybe is a bit of a pessimistic viewpoint, always look kind of for the easiest way to do things.
But don't you think this whole thing with AI and technology and whatever, so people just are forgetting how to have conversations in real life?
Yeah.
Like, it baffles my brain because I'm like, all of this advanced technology is great, but then actually, like, no one's talking to each other properly in real life. Everything's online.
Yeah.
Dating apps, content, whatever it is. People are always just, that's the way that people are meeting.
Yeah.
So then actually when it comes to having conversations in real life, I feel like people just
No, they
can't do
don't.
it.
Yeah, so we were just speaking about obviously the way that tech and stuff's going to destroy humans. It is a pretty dystopian future, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Something that I think about is when we talk about dystopia or utopia, like who gets to make that decision? So I don't know what you guys think, who chooses that?
Yeah,
where we
I
go?
think you made an interesting point before about how people have kind of just lost the ability to be able to communicate effectively now because of AI.
Yeah.
I wonder if people said the same thing when the telephones first came around.
Yeah.
You know? Everyone's on the phones nowadays, they aren't speaking in person.
But it is the big corporations. Like, I think might be a bit of a conspiracy, but a lot of stuff that happens in movies is happening in real life now, which is mad.
It's like The Simpsons, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That everyone knows about that. So I think the way that they're trying to portray things is that these big corporations will be the governments at some point. Like, I don't know if you watched the new Alien series, but they have like these big corporations that like travel through space, and then they're like the governments because they're that powerful now. But then they still have these individuals within the companies that make the decisions, and it's purely based on profit, and it's not really like I suppose they're not thinking about ethics within that. So potentially that's who's controlling the situation.
And I suppose it's, why are we choosing profit over ethics?
Yeah, it's just a mad thing when you think about it. But at the same time, I think people are just driven by shareholder value. How can we get our company to be at this position? But it's an interesting thought. I mean, when people get to a certain level, like, what's the next step from there? Like, if you're a Google, like, what is your incentive? Like, do you just want to keep developing this thing? And then where's the end goal with that? I think that's what we really need to be clear on as a society, is what's our end goal with what we're doing. Like, I feel like we're just on a trajectory at the minute where we don't know where we're going. Like, the governments don't really have an idea. I mean, what's your thoughts on that, Carys?
I mean, it's a whole thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's no one's ever happy or content with things. And I feel like the goalpost is always moving as technology obviously advanced. But yeah, I mean, I try and take a step back from it, to be honest, because I feel like it's very, very easy to just get caught up in it all. I can remember before I went into mindset coaching, I was so hungry for like success, money, all of that sort of stuff, without actually thinking about like my mental health, my physical health. And I think that's what you see a lot of the time. It's like all of these people online are prioritizing all of this success, which is great. And I'm all for being successful and all of that sort of stuff and having the nice things in life. But I think actually more people need to prioritize their mental health and their physical health, because I feel like social media is, you say like that brain rot sort of aspect of things is huge. And I think it's not taken seriously enough. But it's tricky because like for us, we've got a job to do, right? You've got content that you need to make sure is engaging and is hitting the right audience. I'm a presenter. I sell to people. So you got jobs to do, but it's like, to what degree?
Yeah.
It's really hard to find that line, I think.
Yeah, it's carrying that moral burden. It's like, yeah, we understand that, you know, actively making content that's keeping kids away from families and just being on the phone, etc. But at the same time, it's like, it's a means to an end for me. And it's like, there's a lot of industries that are like that, the same. And
So hard.
there's a lot of positivity that comes from it too. I know we're speaking kind of on the negative sides of it, but I guess maybe school, like we speak about parents and the regulation with parents, but maybe schools could do more, because I feel like social media is kind of something that's kind of like just in school is just like shunned, and it's like, no, be off your phones or whatever. But if there's ways for education systems to kind of integrate more social media in a positive way, and also highlight the negative implications of social media from an early age, then I guess kids are more aware of it then, you know, because you learn about crossing the road when you're younger and like looking both ways in school, etc. So maybe there's more about like avoiding certain areas of social media and the negative implications that can come from doom scrolling, and also the benefits of PE and having more in tune with your mental and physical health.
Yeah, I mean, that leads us on nicely. I mean, we've spoken about all the negative aspects of this dystopian future.
There's loads.
Yeah, which is, it seems like you can get really caught up in that, and it can become a little bit like overbearing. But I mean, looking at technology, I mean, how could it be used to genuinely like help people and potentially help more face-to-face connection, and really what matters to human beings, like talent, creative output, and I suppose really being appreciated. What do you guys think about that?
I think like literally the opportunities are amazing. I think there's so many. It just needs to be alongside. So obviously there's opportunities to like learn anything you want, build anything you want, you like create anything you want. And I think if you can do that alongside the awareness that without intention, you can be very sucked into a certain algorithm. So like you need to be curious enough to ask questions outside of what you're just automatically being shown by your algorithm, etc. So you just need, if you can build that curiosity and that intention and know when to step away, what you need to do to counteract sitting at a screen all day, etc., whatever your job is, then I think it can work really well and the opportunities can be wild.
I agree. You know, if it wasn't for social media, I wouldn't have the career and the opportunities that I have now. Same must go for you and yourself, sort of thing. I just think we need to implement a slight safeguarding aspect of things, even for adults. Because, yes, we put ourselves out there in the social media world. So, you know, you put out and you got to expect negative things to come back in. However, you're still human and you're still trying to process loads of negative comments potentially. So I feel like there needs to be some sort of implication where you can have some sort of support to kind of help you through those times. Because, you know, sometimes if you're scrolling through TikTok and you're scrolling through all the comments in a video that you've posted and it's like all this negativity, it's like if you're not trained to know how to process that and go through that, it can be really, really sort of negative. So I think if we can have some sort of like someone there to support us through just the constantly like our careers, I guess, because if your career's on social media, and like for me, I'm my brand, you know, but not everyone's gonna like me. Unfortunately.
No, completely. I think it's really important, and especially someone like yourself who's like working with big creators. Do you think creators like at the level of like your Logan Pauls, your Mr. Beast, do they have a responsibility to shape where it goes in the future for a healthier future?
Yeah, I mean, a million percent. And as I say, there is people like Mr. Beast and Logan to some extent that kind of do take on that burden, and they do try and, you know, push their audiences in a more positive way. But at the same time, there are also people that take it in a negative side too. You know, we see with the Andrew Tates, people like that kids are watching now.
Do they have people they can kind of go to, like the creators that you work with? Do they have people that they can go to if they are struggling?
Struggling with what specifically?
Just like
anything.
Yeah, and like being on a sort of, because they're online and they're such massive figures.
Of course, yeah.
And obviously they've got a great life from it,
Yeah.
but I can't imagine that's easy mentally.
No. So for the people that I've worked with, not just Logan, but historically, they have like a kind of a trusted circle of people that will tell them how it is. Because what you find in this industry, especially with the bigger you get, is you get a lot of yes men around you. And Logan has walked into fire many times in his career. Like he's had huge controversies, and although, you know, he was very wrong to do certain things that he's done in his past, a lot of the people around him could have stopped him, but they didn't because they were collecting the checks, you know? So I guess that having trusted people is something that I have more so than like a designated kind of like person to go to, just the trusted people around them, yeah. But yeah, Logan's got a few of those.
Yeah, I think it's hard though to develop that just generally, isn't it?
Especially when you're big and you're making loads of money. Like when Jake Paul fought Anthony Joshua, when that fight was announced, I was thinking his team have not told him the right thing to do, because he could get seriously hurt. He did get seriously hurt, but it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
So that's
that
it.
safeguarding aspect of it again, isn't it? And
yeah, absolutely.
even adults need that.
Yeah,
it's not just children.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the Wild West, and I feel like the way that you're connecting with millions of people, that's not natural, really, for a human being to have that exposure directly. So I suppose that there has to be some level of, I suppose, for them, accountability as well.
There's a massive responsibility on these people, like, especially with someone like Mr. Beast. He has 400 million subscribers, and his videos get an average of 100 million views on a video. So if you're thinking about that amount of eyes that are watching everything that you do, pretty much, and everything that you output, then there is a responsibility to make sure that you are benefiting, you know, benefiting the generation of kids that are growing up on your content.
Yeah.
So definitely. And I think that's something that we're aware of too. I know with Prime, not Prime Energy, but Prime Hydration, it is a better for you hydration beverage that Logan, this is not a paid advertisement, but they're actively trying to make a product that, one, will make them profit, but two, is also giving children and consumers just a healthier alternative to the things that are on the market right now, like the Lucozades and the Gatorades, etc.
Yeah.
Prime is objectively, you look at the science behind it, is a better for you alternative. So that's one example of ways they're trying to kind of make, I guess, the next generation healthier. But there is a responsibility there.
Do you think there's a level we get to where, let's say, for instance, in school, everyone goes through like a social media class, where if they want to create their own content, this is the way you do it, or if you want to take in content, this is how you do it in a strategic way? Because at the moment it is just a complete, just you're on your own, you have to figure it out. There's just YouTube videos for stuff, and I feel like there needs to be an education formulated around how to use the content, but also how to be a content creator.
So maybe not on kind of the key curriculum. I think that's something that definitely, like, for instance, when I was in school, the job that I'm doing now, there was no lessons for that, you know. Although my creative media course that I did whilst I was at college, one of the best courses in the world, they now have a module on the course for content creation, which blew my mind, because like that's the job that I do now, and I did that course and that didn't even exist back then. So I feel like it should definitely be an option for people that want to do that, but generally I don't know if there's enough kids that would want to get into content creation anyways for it to be kind of like a key thing on the curriculum. But as we spoke about before, I think it would be great for kids to have the opportunity to learn about the negative implications of social media, and that is something that absolutely should be on kind of the key curriculum in school or whatever, to make sure that kids are making smart decisions when it comes to the content they are consuming online. So definitely. And also like 99.9% of kids are on social media, so it's something that is important to do in school.
I think nowadays, being back in the day, like I want to be an astronaut, being the social media content creator is that now. I think if you ask any kid, what do you want to be when you're older, they'll say, I want to be a Mr. Beast, or I want to do content
We've
creating.
been through the YouTube phase.
Have you gone through it?
It didn't like it's footballer now, but we
Yeah.
went through the phase of I want to make videos.
Yeah. So I
that's
think
the
there is a
thing.
big need for it.
But these children are seeing the high life of it, aren't they? That's the thing. And I feel like not enough people show sometimes the reality of it. So it's very easy to be like, oh, I want to be an influencer, I want to be a footballer.
Yeah.
And it's like, absolutely have those goals, but there needs to be more acknowledgement on actually the negatives
What
as
that
well,
means,
and
yeah.
what and just kind of being a bit more realistic sometimes
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
it. It's like have those dreams, but also you need to understand what comes with that as well, because you know no one prepares you for being in the social media space,
Of course.
especially when your personal brand is your business. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But I think that's where you need to understand like having a good support system around you
Yeah.
and having a good relationship with yourself is the two things that you need to have behind the scenes, because else you can just crumble, I think.
Yeah, no, that definitely is so important. And I suppose, like, moving forward into the future then, do you think there's a way where we can be, I suppose, like, rewarded but incentivize people more to do the right things with their health, with their sort of relationships, with people moving forward? I mean, what does that future look like to you in terms of using tech for the right thing? Is there a way that you envision that happening?
I think it's personal preference, isn't it? Because I think people can only help themselves to how they want that, right? And I think especially with how people live their lives nowadays, it's the quick dopamine hits. And unfortunately, taking care of your health, both physically and mentally, isn't this fun, sexy thing that people think it may be. It's actually very mundane. It's sort of 1% better every single day. And it's not the sexy thing, but it's so important. But I feel like too many people are so addicted to that dopamine, that quick dopamine, that people don't really see the importance of like the longer term.
Yeah, I think the digital age kind of like makes everything look like it's accessible quickly, and that work's not accessible quickly.
Yeah,
Like and it's hard, it's messy, it's back and forth, and that repetition of doing that work is the thing that I think the digital side of it takes
Yeah.
away from us.
It's
And
like
then how do you
having-
teach that? Do you
That's
know, like
the
the whole
thing.
element of working towards something great takes time, or enjoying the journey to some degree?
but people don't. It's like you see people starting a fitness journey, you see people start a business, and if in the first couple of months it doesn't work, or they're not seeing massive changes, they quit. Because they're like, well, I've tried it and it's not going to work. And it's like, these things, when it comes to like fitness, if people are there like, I'm going to go on a diet, and they're like, you're going to fail. Because it's a lifestyle change. Do you know what I mean? Like, you need to implement those things. Same with business, takes time. But yeah, people just want the quick fixes, I think.
Of course.
And that's where you see the people that are successful, you know for a fact, they've stuck through the nitty gritty when things aren't going right. Like, people could look at my career now and be like, wow. And I'm like, you have no idea. Like, what you have to go through when, unfortunately, you either have that resilience or you kind of don't, I think.
And batten away the distractions, because again, we're just open to endless distractions, aren't we? Endless like solutions to one problem, but it takes away from somewhere else.
Do not disturb your phone. That's my biggest advice.
Yeah.
Do
No, I
not
think
disturb.
from what you said, it seems like it's made it quite clear that it's quite important to have maybe the right people around you through that journey. So if you want to go through something that's going to change your life in a healthier way, if you've got people around you that motivate you to do that, and you feel a bit of a dopamine, or I don't know, maybe like a well done in a way where you're pushing each other, that could be maybe the way that you can push yourself and replace some of the bad tech habits that people have. I mean, have you got any experience like that where you've got people around you to kind of help you with your journey and stuff?
100%. I think the people that you surround yourself with is so important, whether that's a partner, your family, your friends, whoever, work colleagues, whatever it is. It's the most important aspect of it, because at the end of the day, if you want to be a successful person, but you don't have other people in your life that are wanting to maybe start a business, already has a business, or you've got a fitness goal, but all your friends are out drinking on a Saturday, Friday night, you're not going to get to that because you haven't got people around you being like, why didn't you do this? Like, holding you accountable. If you're the only person that's always holding yourself accountable, you're never really truly going to reach your goals. But I think your circle is so important. If you want to succeed, you've got to surround yourself with people that are also doing the same and has that grit, because like I said, trying to get to your goals and reach that truly isn't glamorous. But if you've got other people that are also like just head down, it's not glam, but we got to get it done. It's like fitness. We live in Manchester. Do I want to go out running in the rain? Absolutely not. Will I go do it? Of course I will. Because it has to get done. It's one of those things.
Well, Gio's the perfect person to align with that. I think you've been running like every day, just as a accountability
Problem
thing.
is, so I kind of accidentally set myself a challenge of doing 100 kilometers every month. It was kind of like an accidental thing. And then I'm now in the last month now. And I was in Vegas for the first like week of the month. So I'm playing catch up. And I've been ill for the past few days, so it's been really, really hard. But now I just can't, like, not
You've got a long run on.
Because on April 30th, I'll just tell this dead quick. On April 30th, I was finishing a video, and it was 11:57 at night, and I was like, will my run still record this for April if I run now? So I set off at 11:57. When I finished the run, it counted for April. So because I did that, now I've got to finish it now. You know.
How many kilometers is that per day then?
5. I only do like 5.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah. So it roughly is like 25 kilometer runs a month.
Wow.
So I've got 30. I'm on 60 now, so I've got 40 left to do. I've got 9 days.
You need to come to my run on the 10th of Jan. I'm running 32 kilometres. So.
I can't do that. I'm not doing that.
I can't do that either, and I'm still doing it.
You're going to do 30 like non-stop, 32 non-stop. That's mental.
No, that'll be amazing.
Yeah.
And Susan, what do you think about in the future? Like, how can we use tech to really benefit society and obviously find the right people? Like you said, it's important to, whatever journey you're on, have the right people around you.
I mean, I think obviously what you're doing with Linkar is amazing. I think so with tech, it's very like gives you what you need straight away automatically, and really what we need to do as people, like when you talk about growing your circle, etc., that takes the getting out of your comfort zone, going to the running club that you don't want to go to, going to the group that you don't want to go to. It takes the leaning into the fear a little bit, so you're moving away from that tech draw of just sit with what's comfortable, scroll, do this, do that, and moving towards the fear, finding the right people, growing your circle. And I think if you can get that balance, then you can use tech for loads of great things, but it is really a working balance. And going back to yourself, is it working for me? Is this what I want? Is it aligned with where I'm going? And just keep assessing, changing, setting the goal, taking the steps in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. And what kind of tips would you give to people today to say, look, this is what you can do to really help your mindset and really get out there?
Probably like the number one thing which people really struggle with is just being really honest with yourself. So taking a look at all the different areas of your life, breaking it down and actually being really honest about what's going on, how you feel about it. Are you doing what you need to do to particularly, be where you want to be who you want to be, but really just bringing awareness to what's going on and actually being honest about if it fits into what you want.
That's, I think, really resonates with me. And a lot of people might just be, I don't know, they don't want to actualize the problems because they feel like this is going to be a change of who I am or who I believe the person that I want to be is. So I think that is really, really quite insightful. I think that's some fantastic advice, really. And what about you, Carys? What would you say someone today, if they need some advice and guidance on just getting out there, what's the best thing to do?
Gosh, well, comfort zone, it makes or breaks you. I think I'm very used to being outside my comfort zone. Anytime I feel comfortable, I'm there like, this is not good. I need to step out of it. Hence why I'm doing that run next month, because I'm there like, that is mentally and physically. You do it on your own? It's open invite, guys. It's open invite. Everyone can come. But, that's to raise awareness around mental health. And I think it's a whole different story. And I think, you have to be so comfortable feeling uncomfortable to be able to grow, and you have to say goodbye to the version that you know of yourself to become more successful, to be more resilient, to have better boundaries. Because if you just stick with the version of yourself that you know all the time, you're never going to truly grow and change the person. And I think as we get older, it's normal to be able to grow and become more resilient. And I think, yeah, just get out your comfort zone, try new things. Like the amount of times I've pivoted in my career, if you look at my LinkedIn, it's like 28 different jobs over the past like 8 years, because I've been like, nope, doesn't align, nope, doesn't align. And I've took the risk, because when I pivoted into presenting a few months ago, I didn't know if it was going to work out. Luckily it did, but it might not have. But you have to just feel comfortable with taking that risk, because you're the only person that's in control of your own life. So you either stick with what you know and never change and never grow, or you take some risks. And actually, it gets pretty fun when you take some risks.
I can imagine, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, on that same sort of trajectory, with the way that tech's evolving, the way that everything's going, what would you say to people, Gio, in terms of how to best approach life, and if you're feeling isolated, what should you do?
It's funny you say the word trajectory, because that's one of my favourite words when it comes to the advice I give to people. It's like, I feel like sometimes people get too goal driven, and I'm not somebody that's ever really set goals, you know? Like people go, oh, how did you get into sort of the field that you're in now? And it's like, it kind of like stumbled on accident. I enjoyed every process of it, and I think trajectory is the most important word. People kind of just got to set themselves on trajectories and enjoy the process. I think enjoying the process is something that allows you to not fail, but like sort of like stay on that progress route, you know? So yeah, just set trajectories and don't get too conscious over goals.
Yeah.
You know?
And I suppose as well, as tech evolves and different aspects of whether it's your career or friendships or just day-to-day life, as human beings, what's something that we should just protect at all costs? It's something that you should consistently do regardless of where tech goes.
Fitness. I think that's the most important thing, because my job is very much like being in front of a screen for like hours and hours and hours in a day, and finding that time just for myself to just get out, because you can always make excuses not to go out. Like, you know, I've got friends that say, yeah, I don't have time to run today. And it's like, well, you definitely had half an hour of scrolling through your phone at some point in the day, you know? So there's definitely time for you to run. It's making that time for yourself and carving it out and having the discipline.
I think I'm struggling with that at the minute. It's just feeling like I've got too much stuff I need to do, and then not prioritising some time for exercise, whether it's going to the sauna or having a quick run. And then that level of what you said, like discipline and feeling like the excuses are valid. And then it's almost like a bit of an easy way out in some aspects as well.
I'd say the best, if you're in that situation, because I've been in there before, if I'm like, I'm really busy today, like for instance, today's a very busy day for me, but I got up and got the run in straight away, because then it's done. Because if I was to go, I'll leave it till later on in the day, then what ends up happening is, I'll do it at 4. 4 comes around, I've still got stuff to do, I'll do it at 5. 6 is probably best. Now it's too dark, you know, then it's gone. So get up, get it out of the way first thing in the morning, and that's the best way to kind of then, also you've ticked something off. I think naturally, if you get up early, get on a run, and you've already ticked off something massively in the morning, then that kind of get shit done approach follows suit for the rest of the day, you know? You set yourself on a pattern.
It's also understanding the difference between discipline and motivation. Everyone's like, oh, I just don't feel You're not going to feel motivated. It's dark, it's raining, it's winter, it's cold. But it's like discipline at the end of the day. And also it's finding something that works for you. Because when I was training for High Rocks, yes, I was training all the time. I didn't feel good in myself. So when I pivoted that slightly and started doing things that actually made me feel good, I was like, oh, I actually enjoy fitness way more now. So yeah, it's understanding the difference, isn't it? It's like, you're not going to want to do all these training sessions, but actually you have to get it done. Of
course.
It's ticking those boxes. It's having that routine, I think.
Exactly.
Because it keeps your mind ticking. Because I feel like if you neglect fitness and neglect eating well and hydration, for example, you're not going to be able to think straight when it comes to business and how you just have relationships and think on a day-to-day basis. So I think actually that small thing that you can make time for in your morning or in your evening, whatever, will massively impact how you go about your day.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
and I'll make you happier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
making
honestly.
room for micro adjustments as well. So, like, I think when it comes to health in particular, you think, oh, I need to do a 5K run, or I need to do an hour's gym session. Whereas actually, do you know what? If you can't get an hour's session in, like, do like 5 minutes with your kettlebell in your house. Like, it doesn't have to be. If you can't do it perfect, you don't do it at all.
yeah, and make it work for your lifestyle, right? I'm quite lucky. My gym's in my apartment block now. So I just pop downstairs, do a gym workout, amazing. Or you can just pop out and do a run. But that's why running's so good, because it's so convenient.
Yeah, you can do it anywhere.
Yeah. So I think if you can run, make it part of your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Changed my life.
Yeah.
Literally changed my life.
Yeah, it made me so much happier.
So much happier.
When I first started, though, and everyone's like this when they first start running, it's horrible.
Yeah.
The first run that you do, I remember I ran like 3K and I got back and I was like, I can't do that. I had blisters all over my feet. I had shin splints. I just felt horrible. But it's about showing up. It is about the consistency. And like the 5K at one point to me felt like an unachievable goal. Now I'm doing them every day, but that's because you build that routine. And it comes with the, what's the word you use? The micro gains.
Adjustments,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, with running as well, it teaches you another layer of resilience.
Yeah.
Because you could go out, run a 10K and be like, that felt so good. The next day, you could wake up, do a 5 kilometre, and you could be like, that felt like that.
Yeah.
Like, that was horrible. But I think it's just being able to take the wins whilst you can. And then if you have a crap run, go again the next day.
Yeah.
Have a day off, go to the sauna, relax, and then get back to it.
Absolutely.
You just have
Not for
to...
you.
Yeah. Well, some of my best runs, it's been raining.
Yeah.
I love those runs sometimes where it's like late at night, everyone's got the umbrellas, it's raining, but then you're listening to music, you're in shorts and a t-shirt, and you're just blasting down Deansgate. Yeah, those are the best ones.
Amazing. Well, guys, it's been a fantastic conversation. If you want to plug anything that you're doing or any new stuff that's going on, I mean, have you got anything on? What do you reckon?
Have I got anything?
Yeah, I mean, what's the latest and greatest?
I have no idea.
I mean, you go for runs every day,
Personally-
so you can get people to come join you on the runs.
No, I'm good. I'm joking. I'm actually gonna like readjust the way. I'm still gonna run in 2026.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm not gonna lie. Like moving to Manchester, I don't love running in the city.
Yeah, it's not the best, is it?
I had the perfect running route in London. We had this park that was 1 kilometre just where we live, 1 kilometre round. So I used to be able to do like a couple around there, then get a 3K round. But in Manchester, I'm like constantly stopping and starting because I live right in the city as well. So it's like
You need to run out to
nightmare.
Salford Keys.
Yeah, people have said Salford. I've not been down there
You'll
yet.
love
Though. Okay.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, we'll hit a run up soon.
Yes. Yeah. Let's do it.
Definitely. Suze, what's going on there? Any other events? Anything else latest?
No, however, if you want to find some intention, I have got a free life wheel quiz on my
Nice.
Instagram.
Nice.
To get you started.
Yeah, we'll plug all the details in. So yeah, definitely check that out. And Carys, I know you've got the big run coming up.
Yeah, so on Saturday the 10th of January, I'm going to be running 32 kilometres in memory of my brother, who we recently lost. So he was 32, so I was like, right, 32 kilometres. I've only ever ran as far as a half marathon, which is 21 kilometres, so I've got to run an extra 11. So I don't know if I'm going to go about that. But yeah, so it's an open invite to as many people that want to come and support and raise awareness around men's mental health. So yeah.
Definitely. I'll be supporting you there.
Definitely,
Linkar will be there to show our support. And I think it is so important to have that for the mental health aspects of it. And a lot of people are struggling with things like that. So yeah, that's fantastic, guys. So the app's live as well. Check it out in our bio. You can connect and rewards, and we're developing that every week. So new updates coming out. And thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next episode.
Yeah.